So way back on July 16th, I did a video where I broke down the Dragon Ball Super TV ratings for weeks 1 and 2. And since then, I've gotten tons and tons of requests from people to go ahead and do an update on the Dragon Ball Super ratings. So that's what I'm doing with this video. I'm going to give you guys kind of a breakdown of the last 6 months worth of Dragon Ball Super television ratings. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say that, like I said in that video months and months ago, the ratings for Dragon Ball Super don't matter as much as you think. I know a lot of the fans are concerned of the ratings, that, oh my God, Dragon Ball Super, it has to do really good ratings for it to thrive. That's only a piece of the puzzle. When it comes to Japan, specifically Toei and anime in general, what really matters is the merchandise. If Dragon Ball Super can sell lots of video games, lots of t-shirts, lots of backpacks, lots of pencil holders, DVDs and things like that, that's going to determine the length and the strength of the series. Now, of course, Toei's not going to have the full figures of how successful it is until it comes out internationally, so that may be a determining factor as far as how long the series goes and how much they push it. But the ratings don't matter that much, but because you guys have asked for it, I'm going to give it to you. Now, many of you are probably asking, where do you get the ratings from? Well, let's go to Kanzenshuu. So here you see Kanzenshuu. Pop open the front page, and the first place you'll want to go to is episode list, where they have kindly, I believe it was Heath. I'm pretty sure Heath is the guy who runs this section of the website, has kindly given us enough information here to really dissect everything. And if you scroll down here, you have the ratings right here, and right beneath the ratings you have the place that the show happened to have gotten that week. So for example, week 1, 7.9 rating share, and it there were 3 shows ahead of it. Now, understand, guys, the way that the ratings work is that this is a rating share, a share of the audience. And as far as the ratings work in North America through Nielsen, I don't know how they work in Japan specifically, but I know that with Nielsen, the DVR penetration only counts for the first 24 hours. So, in other words, what that means is, if somebody recorded Super, let's say you're in Japan and you DVR Dragon Ball Super and you don't watch it until like Tuesday, it doesn't count. So again, that's why you shouldn't put too much stock into these ratings. The first 2 weeks did a 7.9, then it dropped to a 5.6. Week 3, it jumped back up to a 7. Week 4, you see it a little bit lower to a 6.3, and then down to a 5.3. 5.2, 6, 6.2, 6.1, 5.1, 5.0, 4.7. Really surprised me that episode 12 of Dragon Ball Super, considering that how good episode 11 was. It surprised me that episode 12 dropped down so low, but it picked right back up the next week with 6.6, 5.5, 6.5, 5.5. It's hovering right around a 5 or a 6, sporadically going up and down. Now, understand something about these ratings, guys. Understand that the ratings for Dragon Ball Super are they in no way correlate with the quality of the episode. Because when you're first watching a television show, when you're first watching Super, you don't know if it's going to be a good episode or not. This is all first run programming. So if your favorite episode of Dragon Ball Super just happens to be episode 12 and you see a 4.7, you're kind of bummed out about it. Don't be. The reason why it's a 4.7 is because at some point prior to this, maybe with episode 11, people were just not happy with the show and decided to skip it or didn't make it a priority. That's a possibility, but with ratings, again, like I've said before, ratings, it's very, very difficult to really dissect them because we really don't know what's going on. Not to mention there may be cultural reasons as to why. Now, I know some of you are also probably wondering, what about the placement? 8th place, 6th place, 7th place, 6th place, 7th place. Dragon Ball is not the number 1 product in Japan right now. Not even close. One Piece is the biggest Toei franchise out there, and there are other shows, of course. Dragon Ball Super, it's just not the kingfish. It's not. And not that there's anything like that Super's like a bad thing or, it's a failure. It's definitely not a failure. It's doing exceedingly well. And you guys got to understand, this is also a story being retold. So the real question is going to be, when Dragon Ball Super goes into the Universe 6 arc, when we go into the new material, when we get past the reenactment of the first 2 movies, of the last 2 movies, that is, the last 2 theatrical movies, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, when we get to the new stuff, I wonder how the ratings are going to do then. Are people going to get sick of it by then? Are they just going to not care at that point? Or will there be an influx of people wanting to see what happens after? You got to keep that in mind. With the Battle of Gods arc, which ended at episode 14, it looks like the interest it certainly waned from the first episode. I think people were interested in the initial broadcast. Maybe the fact that it was a slice of life episode may have turned people off. Again, we don't know. This is all speculation that I'm giving you. The Resurrection F arc, which technically it began with episode 18, really, or 19, but let's just, for the sake of argument, say it started at 15, seems to be doing steady. And it's interesting because the movie just came out recently. It's out on home video in Japan and here. It seems to be doing okay. That's the thing that I want to really get across with this video. You know, if you want to look at the ratings every week, just go to Kanzenshuu, go to the Dragon Ball Super episode list, and you can easily see them. But don't put too much stock into them because, like I've said before, there's more factors to it. But it will be interesting just to see how it does when we get past the retelling. You know, ultimately, a lot of people in the community, like Black and Fist and Laughingstock Media, a few others, have pretty much said that the retelling of the films has hurt the series, and I do wonder how the series will do when it hits North America, because these films are still pretty fresh. But anime does that a lot. But what about Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball is more of a mainstream show than just any old anime. So I wonder how it'll do. I guess we'll find out. But anyways, that's what I got for you this week. Ratings are right there on Kanzenshuu. Go to their website, donate up here in the PayPal donate button, and help them out. And thank you for watching, of course, and I'll catch you down the road.